Hey, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Let There Be Talk. Today is February 10th, a Friday, and this is going to be a bitchin' episode with me solo at the mic. Solo at the mic! I just decided I'll go on today and shoot the shit about some cool stuff and bitch about a little bit of stuff and just shout at you guys here in your ears wherever you're at, commuting, at the gym. Hope you're at the gym. Pump it up. You got to pump it up. That was one of the funniest sketches there. Pump it up on Saturday Night Live with Hans and Franz. I just remembered that. I just out of nowhere that hit me at fucking 9 a.m. on a Friday. February 10th, you know what that is today. Cliff Burtons Birthday from Metallica, the mighty Cliff Burton. He would have been 55 today. God, I can't even believe that, man. Gone way too soon, man. 24 years old. It's funny that he was 24 because he just always seemed like an old soul. He just seemed so much wiser and older than all of us floating around the club. You got to think he was only 3 years older than me at the time, but I've said this many times. I would see Metallica, and there was something kind of worldly about them. I mean, I would see them around the clubs, you know. They had traveled. They were actual, like, 20-year-olds that had toured Europe and shit. None of my friends had done that. It was just, they were just like the complete heroes. It was insane. They would come back. They were like, it was just like, wow, man, they're fucking doing it. I mean, I couldn't even imagine when I was 19 and 20 just going and doing tours in Europe and some states and stuff like that. It was just so foreign, you know. Just playing around California was a task and also, you know, pretty badass. You're like, oh my God, we got a gig in Sacramento. It's going to be amazing. So imagine just being like, oh yeah, we're playing Stuttgart, Germany. Just crazy, man. Of course, everybody knows the horrific bus crash and it's just tragic. The guy was just so next level. This is how good he was. The band wanted him, and he's like, yeah, you got to move to the Bay Area. 3 dudes, not one dude. You know, like you would be like, nah, man, you got to come to L.A. Like, 3 of us move? But we all know what happened. Of course, they move and become the mightiest band of all time, in my eyes. You know, tough to pick a favorite band, but as I was at that Metallica 30-year anniversary a few years back at the Fillmore, I sat there and realized all the amazing memories I have from Cliff Burton, James Hetfield, Lars, Kirk Hammett, even, you know, of course, all the stuff they turned me on to, which would be like Merciful Fate and Motorhead and on and on and on. I mean, it goes on and on. But, you know, really my biggest memory of Cliff Burton, and it always will be, and I'm so happy I was there, was that day they played Day on the Green. And I've said it before, it was completely the changing of the guard. You know, there they are opening for the Scorpions. They're going on early in the day. And let me get that line up. Hold on. Here it is right here. So the lineup that day, and it was 1983. And let's see here. 85. 1985. So I'm 1 year out of high school. And you got Victory, which I can't even tell you. I was definitely in the parking lot during Victory, drinking beers. 1985, definitely didn't have an ID to buy any beer in the venue, so it was that old, hey, can you buy us some beer out in front of a liquor store? I think about that. It was so weird how you would just sit out in front of the liquor store and be like, hey, can you buy us some beer? And eventually someone would. I mean, I couldn't even imagine like doing that now, you know, like, hey, I'm walking to a liquor store, somebody go, hey, can you buy us some beer? It's like, fuck no, you're going to crash. I'm going to get sued and everything will be gone. But just perfect strangers would just come up and be like, oh yeah, you kids go out and get fucking high. I remember those days. And it was just amazing. I can't even believe it, actually. I'm sitting here just tripping on how a stranger would take your $10, go in and buy a Budweiser 12-pack in the bottle. That's what I drank in the early days. And maybe a bottle of vodka and just send us on our way. Anyway, those concerts always started in, like the morning, I think like 11 a.m. So Victory, who knows who they played for. Then Yngwie came on. I was inside for the mighty Yngwie, of course, and he was just destroying the Stratocaster and killing it. And everybody was in a great mood. The sun was out. It was beautiful weather. Matter of fact, I remember this specifically. It was one of the few times I met Bill Graham. I met him twice, but this time we were partying in the parking lot. And I remember Bill Graham pulled up in a golf cart just out of nowhere in a golf cart. He goes, hey, you kids go inside, man. I don't want any trouble out here. And we were like, oh, okay, Bill. Like, we knew who it was, but we were blown away. Like, what's he doing in the parking lot? And it was just kind of like, he was just cool like that. Like, don't be fucking around. Go inside and watch some rock and roll. We're like, all right. So we got in, and watched Yngwie, and the sun was out. And this concert was at Oakland, and I've talked about Dan the Greens many times as being the blueprint of my entire musical life, and probably why I'm alive. And that's not a joke. Once I went to these concerts, I knew, okay, I get it. I can play music maybe and enjoy life. Up until then, it was like too small to play pro sports. Didn't really have the drive to do that, and wasn't that smart. Like, what am I going to do? Oh yeah, maybe I'll build some rockets. Whatever, man. Rock and roll hit me, and it's gotten me everything I have in my life, which is amazing. So the sun's out. It's in this beautiful ballpark where the A's play. Holds 60,000. This show's completely fucking jam-packed. And you sit out on the outfield. And around the pitcher's mound was always this giant kind of fence. Not giant fence, but like a fence that hooked together so you couldn't go trash the pitcher's mound, because baseball was going on during these concerts. Baseball season would be happening in the summer. So I remember Metallica comes on, and the Scorpions got this amazing stage. It looks like a giant fucking scorpion. You can see it on YouTube. It's a must on the infamous Cliff VHS tape, which I still have. Cliff amazing. If you have never seen that, it gives you an insight to early Metallica. Stuff like them going to the liquor store, the house over in El Cerrito, over there, Berkeley, or whatever street it was on. So the band comes on, and they're fucking killing. And let me see if I can get the set list. Here it is right here. So they open with, of course, their intro tape. They were even doing back there the Ecstasy of Gold, do-do-do, do-do-do, the stuff from the Clint Eastwood, Good, the Bad, the Ugly. And then they just kick into Creepin' Death. And there they are, just the fucking 24, 22-year-old kids up there just playing in their fucking backyard, man. This is where they're from, the East Bay. And there they are. And it's like, for me, seeing it, it was like, oh my God, man, these guys have totally made it. They're playing day on the green. This is insane. And, we're of course up there, and that's early on when pits were fierce. Full-blown pits were breaking out. People were going fucking crazy. And then they go into Ride the Lightning, which is one of the best tracks ever. And by then, they go into track 3, For Whom the Bells Toll. And Hetfield introduces Cliff Burton as, we all know Cliff, right? Say hi, Cliff. Whole stadium says hi, Cliff. He kicks into that bass solo. They blow into For Whom the Bells Toll. And right then I look around and kids, myself, everyone, people were tearing up the outfield and the infield grass and just throwing it in the air. Giant pieces of sod were flying. It was insane. Bill Graham was losing his mind. It's going to be fine city. It's going to cost so much money to fix this. But I think deep inside, he was probably going like, fuck yeah, this is another Bay Area band that is taking over the world, And I mean, it was a sight to see. Just fucking shit flying. All of the A's outfield and infield just flying around like Frisbees. They're just crushing it, going into Four Horsemen, then Fade to Black, Seek and Destroy, Whiplash, encoring with Am I Evil, into Motor Breath. I mean, and boom, they're out of there. One of the most, that was it. That was the day. They were like, hey, yeah, pretty much we're taking over from here on out. And that is no fucking joke. Rest of the day was Y&T, which I had Dave on, and he talked about, if you never heard my Dave Medichetti interview, he talks about Metallica opening for them early on in Sacramento, which is a great story. And then Rat and Scorpions. Scorpions, of course, killed. I've never seen Scorpions not kill. That's not the point, though. That day was Metallica's day. And Cliff Burton was definitely the fucking king of that day in his denim fucking full-blown denim jacket, denim bell bottoms, which I rocked with the stoner boots. That's what we called them. Back then, it was just stoner boots. I don't know why, but it was, I guess, because only stoners wore those motorcycle boots. So it'd be like, yeah, I got to get some stoner boots, some bell bottoms. And there's definitely pictures of me out there rocking that outfit for a while. I just love them, man. Long live Cliff Burton. Go and do yourself a favor, people, and put on some Cliff Burton today. On vinyl or YouTube, sit back and enjoy it. What a legend. Speaking of denim, and thank you, Cliff Burton, for all the memories, actually. From that day on, man, I've just been a denim freak, which is pretty damn cool. Okay, well, how is everybody today? I'm just kind of trying to wake up here, just waking up and going through a few things. I'm finally getting into the Beatles, which is weird. I'm 51, and I've in the last couple of weeks, I don't know, I think it was me just smoking that weed with Joey Diaz. If you guys missed that episode, it's on YouTube and iTunes, but when I started comedy, I was smoking a little weed here and there all the time, but it really was wiping out my short-term memory. And I was on stage, and I would just kind of forget where I was going next. So I was like, I got to give up weed, man, because I want to do stand-up for real. So it had been a good 7 years since I smoked any weed. And I'd been wanting to smoke some, I was just looking for the right time. And also being a diabetic, I'm not sure, I was talking to Josh Wolf, maybe you shouldn't smoke it, or not all the time, or whatever. So I Uber over to Joey Diaz's podcast, him and Lee over there in the Valley. And I think it was Tuesday. And I was like, fuck it. I Ubered because it was raining. And I go, oh, fuck it, man. I walk in. Of course, they're taking acid. I fucking love, how balls out is it? Just two adults, let's take acid and do a podcast. I'm like, well, I can't sit in the middle of two guys on acid. I've been there before, you know what I mean? I got to do something. So I asked him if he had any hash, because I love hash. And he didn't bring any, so he's like, I got this, Dean, I got this 24 karat, try this out. 24 karat sativa. Because I was like, yeah, I'll go sativa because that keeps me up. You know, it's like, as later on in life, I realized all my bad experiences on weed were always with like indica, you know, because it's just too fucking strong. You know, like that indica, you're just kind of like, wow, I'm ready for bed. And that's good for high-strung people, but for me, I'm not a downer guy. I like up. You know, I like to go up. You know what I mean? I like to go up. So I'm looking at this strain here. 24 karat gold marijuana reviews. I'm on the marijuanareviews.com, which I should have read before I smoked it. Let's see here. Good for depression, chronic pain, and fatigue. I would have to agree with that, man, because if you got any chronic pain, you are not going to feel shit on this weed. Let's see what else. It is the strength 8.0. Negatives, paranoia, dry mouth, and red eyes. Isn't that every weed? Hilarious. That is so fucking funny. This thing's it's a hybrid weed. It's a hybrid of a little Kush and sativa, and I'm talking like a pro over here. I'm just reading what it says here, but so he's like, yeah, I got this 24 karat. The lady says it's really good, so I go, yeah, put it in, and I put in a hit, and I take a big hit, but at the time I don't notice. I just drag in a hit, and when I blow it out, it's giant, and I'm like, oh man, that was fucking huge. You know, and immediately just charcoaled my fucking lungs. I hadn't smoked in like 7 years. I mean, it charcoaled my lungs. I was like, oh, whoa, fuck. And I was fine. As Joey was setting up the podcast, I was just chilling, like getting ready, like, yeah, this will be mild, you know. I'll just kick it nice and stoned and talk some rock and roll. And Joey throws on Just a Gigolo to open the podcast. And as it starts coming on, I'm starting to come on fucking fierce. I mean, like, I hadn't been stoned in 7 years. And even 7 years ago, from then to now, the weed has like quadrupled in power. So I'm sitting there. And the last time I really got too fucked up was in Amsterdam. I smoked this shit, White Widow number 5, and it was just deadly. So anyway, Just Gigolo comes on. I'm sitting there, and I'm just like, oh yeah, you know, I'm starting to feel it. Wow, all right, cool. And then out of nowhere, I remember Joey going, sing it, Dean. He's singing Just a Gigolo. Joey's like, I'm just a gigolo. Everywhere I go, people know the heart I'm playing. Pay for every dance. Sing it, Dean. And I was like, whoa, I am fucking... And I'm like, ooh, what they saying? There will come a day. My right side of my body, I swear to God, it felt like I got bit by a snake. The whole right side of my body, if you've ever huffed nitrous and you blow it out, that vibrating body, my right side of my body was completely vibrating, and the left side didn't even work. It was a snake bite. I was like, a fucking cobra bit me in this studio. I don't think I'm going to make it out of here. And then he put on Iron Maiden, Rothschild, I believe. And by then, I was completely fucking gone. I mean, I'm talking so fucking gone. It was radical, actually. I had the headphones on. Joey was talking, and it was almost like a meditation tape. His voice was hypnotic, and I was sitting there, and my water was a foot away, and I was like, I need to get that water, but I couldn't move. And meanwhile, him and Lee are peaking on acid, and I'm in the middle. I'm in the middle, just sitting there as they're going like, yeah, Maiden. Oh, check it out, Maiden. Oh, yeah, Steve Harris is the man, you know, and I'm just sitting there just like, what the fuck, Maiden? Now I'm listening to Maiden, and I'm just completely on Mars. And I just drift out completely out of my mind. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to be here for a while. Every once in a while, I'd hear Joey go, hey, you okay over there, Dean? And I'd be like, yeah. After about 20 minutes, which I swear to God felt like maybe 2 hours, after about 20 minutes, I snap out of it. Like here's what was going on. I was smoking stoned. I mean beyond stoned. And then I came down to stoned. It was like beyond stoned to stoned. And now I'm like, okay, I'm still fucked up, but I can talk now. My body's starting to come back to order, and I get in, I just come back into the conversation. And I think one of the first things I said was just some blabber about Joe Montana. I don't even know what was going on. I was like, yeah, but Joe Montana, man, he's the man. And I don't even know what I was talking about. And then I slowly come back, and we have one of the funnest podcasts I've ever done. And Joey said it was absolute huge numbers. And thank you all you guys that enjoyed that comedy. It was pretty fucking funny. And hats off to these weed growers, man. I mean, weed is so weird to me, weed and mushrooms. Just imagine the first guy that figured that out. Especially like mushrooms, you know, because weed back then wasn't like the weed now, but mushrooms is the same. Can you imagine you're just cruising around, you're like a caveman, and you just eat whatever you fucking see on the ground, spiders, scorpions, nuts, whatever, mushrooms, and then all of a sudden you go for an absolute fucking, I mean, a full-blown, you must have been tripping so hard back then in the caveman days, or whoever the first one was to take it, the Indians or whoever. I was reading about this Indian woman that, she was the really ground zero of celebrating mushrooms for spiritual rides. All that shit. Peyote, I've taken peyote before, and it's all amazing, and it all really does open up your mind. I couldn't do that shit every day. I still don't understand getting stoned every day. It's just like I got shit to do, but I kind of like it how I did it. You do it once in a while, and it's like, oh, fuck yeah, man. I mean, it really, it opened me up this week. I felt a lot better. I started listening to the Beatles. That's what a cliche. Like, let's check out some Beatles, man. Now, look, before you email me or start tweeting, like, check this and that, I've listened to all the Beatles. All of it. Year after year after year after year. It never really stuck with me. It just felt a little, like I said, there's the Stones people and there's the Beatles people. But as you get older, you realize, this shit is good, man. And, man, I dove head deep into Revolver and been playing that thing like 3 days straight into the White Album. Those two back to back. And it's funny because I've always been a Paul McCartney Wings fan. I absolutely love Band on the Run. And then, of course, the George Harrison solo record just destroys me. I got it on vinyl. I worship that man. But the Beatles are sticking. I'm really getting into some of the dark Beatles tunes, man. I just really, in the last few days, have just been like, this is the fucking goods, man. And also, of course, I always worshipped their recording techniques. I mean, they were so ahead of the time. All that reverse tape and backwards solos and the harmonies and the layers, all that shit. I mean, you got to imagine Revolver's 1966. That's the year I'm born. Who the fuck is doing shit like Eleanor Rigby and Yellow Submarine and you know, as far as kind of crazy recording techniques? I'm Only Sleeping, you know. God, there was a song I just found on the Beatles that I was wondering, shit, man, is this before the band or because this sounds like Ground Zero, the band, and they played it on the rooftop concert. Really, that's what ran me down the Beatles rabbit hole, was watching the rooftop concert again. It was the anniversary of it a few days ago. And I was like, God, can you imagine just like, you know, you're just the Beatles and it's like, okay, this is going to be our last show ever. Of course, the last show in the public or for our concert was at Candlestick in 66 and in San Francisco. Pretty fucking cool. Which is another place Metallica played, you know, back in the day. But anyway, I heard this song. Let me get it here. Here it is right here. It's on the Let It Be album called I Got a Feeling. And man, does it sound like, you know, the band. Let's see. So that's 70. So the band's around. So, wow, I don't know who influenced who, but that song really sounds like the band. And I'm just enjoying the later era of the Beatles, of course, from Revolver out, which would be, you know, Revolver, the White Album. What else would there be in there? Of course, Sgt. Pepper's, one of the fucking masterpieces, drug records. Rubber Soul, Let It Be. Oh, that stuff. Is Abbey Road in this? Yeah, 69. So that run is just one of the most unbelievable songwriting teams ever, and so original. You know, every time I hear a band, you know, that tries to do that, they just sound like the Beatles. It's the harmonies. They try to do like a Eleanor Rigby type of thing, or you know, Oh Darling. It's an incredible body of work, absolutely. It's like the Stones. I just don't go the early mop top stuff with the you know, the happy stuff. She loves you, yeah. That's not me. And that's why I think I was always so turned off by the Beatles. Even though I knew the other stuff existed, it was still in the back of my head that other stuff existed. And same with the early Stones, but the Stones are still my top, of course. Don't get me wrong. You got to pick one or the other. It's going to be the Stones. It's just something so fucking dirty about that band and so epic. Anyway, a couple other things. By the way, thanks for tuning into this episode. I just thought it'd be fun to shoot the shit with you. This episode is brought to you by El Cajon Harley, my fantastic motorcycle sponsor down in Southern California. If you need a Harley Davidson, they got a brand new Road King out. It just came out yesterday. A special model, the Road King Special, and look at it. It looks amazing. It's all blacked out. It's mean looking. Go ask Greg and the boys about all the Harley Davidsons at El Cajon Harley, or just get your bike serviced there, or buy some motor clothes, whatever you need. Hit up El Cajon Harley. These guys have been sponsoring the podcast for almost a year, and we just had that great biker night, and I love all the people that work there. They're just fantastic people. And I mean that, man. I go all the way to San Diego, and I can go anywhere to get my bike serviced right here in LA. And I go all the way down there to buy my bikes and to get them serviced and to hang out. Killer Dealer, El Cohen Harley. Follow him on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And tell him I sent you, man. Get in there and check out all their amazing motorcycles on the floor right now. Take a test ride. Financing is available. A couple other things before I do split. Like I said, thanks for tuning in. A heads up on a Craigslist scam, which is pretty interesting. I'm always watching out for scammers. I feel pretty fucking smart on the internet, and I caught this one a couple days ago. If you're looking for an apartment on Craigslist. And this one is a new shady way to people to steal your identity. If you're looking for an apartment on Craigslist, there's a new scam going where you say, hey, is the apartment available? They email you back and say, yes, it is. What we want you to do is fill out the credit app first. So you come pre-approved. If you like it, we know you're ready to go. Which right away sent a red flag to me. It's like, why would I give you my credit app before I've even seen the fucking apartment? Are you out of your mind? I'm not just going to send you my stuff hoping the apartment's great. I'm looking at 4 photos. I don't know who the fuck you are. And you could just put this ad up, which is what they're doing. So they steal photos, and then they put their own ad up, and they say apartment for rent. And what they do is, and this is how I found out about it, they get an apartment that is amazing, and instead of it being about $2,400, which it should be, they put it up for $1,500 and then ask for your info. And you don't want to miss the apartment because you're like, fuck, $1,500, 1 bedroom in Hollywood. I got to get my info in, man. I got to get this, you know? And here's how I found out. So I was emailing the scammer to say, hey, I want to see the apartment before I fill out an app. And he's not getting back to me. So, you know, he's not going to get back to me because he's just hoping people just send in their info. But I recognized the photo and I knew where the apartment was. So I went over there and I just buzzed the manager's buzzer. And I said, hey, is the apartment still open? He said, yeah, come on up and look at it. So I went up and looked at it. And I said, fuck, this is a great apartment, man. I'll take it, you know? And I said, it's $1,500, right? And he said, $1,500? No, this is $2,200. And I said, what do you mean? It's on Craigslist for $1,500. He goes, I don't even have it on Craigslist. I have it on Zillow. And so I showed him the Craigslist ad. He goes, man, that's a fucking scam. So what they do is they just grab ads off Zillow, put them on Craigslist, and then grab your fucking identity, these scumbags. And, you know, I still can't believe that our whole life is all about our social security number because people can just grab it. To me, it's got to be right like Rolex. Rolex beat the bootleggers by having rotating serial numbers. They used to do the serial numbers in order for years so people could just knock off Rolexes and know what's coming next, a serial number. Now they do random serial numbers. I think that once a year, your social security number should change. It just like, you know, you go or you don't go somewhere because no one will go get it changed. But somehow you get some info and you contact the people and then it just changes. Like, here's your new social each year. That way people can't fucking just steal your social and have it for the rest of your life. Every couple of years, just steal your identity. This makes no fucking sense to me. And the only reason I think it still goes is because credit people make money from people with bad credit and stolen identities and all that shit. So credit scores are all fabricated bullshit. in order to make money off charging you higher rates. So let's say my credit score is a 740. I'm in a B tier, which is great rates. 1 or 2, 3% if you're getting a car, usually 1%. If you're getting a motorcycle, 3%. Motorcycles are always more because they're considered not a necessity. You know, boats, motorcycles, jet skis, motorhomes, all that shit. So it's all geared around making money off these credit points, off these interest points. So, of course, nobody wants to fix that because the banks and everybody are just fucking making money off it. Anyway, we need to get some kind of new fix because all I kept thinking about is just people that are desperate, and it sucks. They look at the apartment, they go, God, this looks good. I'm going to get my app in first. And then meanwhile, the guy's out at fucking Best Buy just getting 6 plasma screens under your name and pumping gas and ordering shit on fucking eBay or anywhere online. Just becoming you. It's just fucking horrible. So watch out for that scam. What else do we got this week? Mark Lanigan's got a new fucking record coming out. I cannot wait for this. And I heard the single. I put it up in my Twitter feed, so check it out. Dean Delray on Twitter. Mark Lanigan's new record coming out. I cannot wait to hear it. Let me get the name of this real quick. It's just incredible. This guy is just a treasure. The Mark Lanigan band Gargoyle, available for pre-order right now. And then he's going on tour. Wow. In June, he's going to be all over Europe. He's going to be doing the podcast again in the next few weeks, talking about this record. The track list looks great. Death's Head Tattoo, Nocturne, Blue Sea, Beehive, Sister, Emperor, Goodbye to Beauty, Drunk on Destruction, First Day of Winter, Old Swan. Give Mark Lanigan a follow on Twitter, man. This guy is an American jewel, man. What a fucking great. And this record sounds amazing. Also, his box set is out. Get this damn box set, will you guys? I mean, own all the Lanigan. My favorite still is, my favorite record? A lot of people go Bubblegum, I'm Field Songs, but shit, you're not going to go wrong with any of these records, I mean, this guy's been in the biz all his fucking life. It's amazing. So anyway, look out for that. What else? Going to see Ryan Adams at the Amoeba, and I'll give you guys a little review on that when I see it next week. This weekend, if you're listening today or tomorrow, go see the Inspiration Show in L.A. Denim. The best Japanese denim show in the planet is in L.A. this weekend. Leather, denim, silver, vintage, all kinds of stuff. And me and Kevin Christie are headed there today, and we'll do a little review on that coming up. Thanks for the donation. Got a donation this week. You guys have been rocking it with the donations. Thank you. Let's see. The donation was from my man. Let me look it up. Shit, I hope it's still up here. Hold on, I'll find it. Wade Stool. Awesome. Thank you, buddy, for the donation. Anybody wants to donate, hit me up, Dean Delray at yahoo.com. Let me give you some upcoming shows real quick. Just got added Easter weekend. I will be headlining Ontario Improv. Easter weekend. Do not miss that. A Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Of course, tonight and tomorrow I'll be at the store in the main room, Comedy Store. Next Friday night is an amazing show. Please come out, Denver. I'm headlining the Sioux Teatro Theater. Get tickets at famcomedy.com. Punch in the code CandlesLit and get a discount. What else is coming up? Let's see here. I will be March 20th through the 22nd with Bill Burr at the San Jose Improv. Those are sold out. Sorry. April 13, 14, 15, That's going to be Ontario Improv. And then, oh man, I got a huge show coming up. I can't announce it yet, but you guys are going to love it. And it's a rock and roll show for sure, man. Oh yeah, March 15th. You want to see me sing and do comedy? Come down and see me at the Roxy with Bill Burr at the Roxy for the goddamn comedy jam. March 15th. Tickets available now. It might be sold out, but check it out. And then the 18th, I will be doing Steve Agee and Brendan Smalls Baked, singing another song and rocking it at the Hollywood Improv. One last thing before I do go. A lot of people have been doing Record of the Day on Instagram and Periscope. I love that you guys dig it. And people keep asking me about my gear. I have a Marantz vintage tuner, which... is a 2275. It was made in the 70s. A lot of people say, hey, what Marantz should I get? The Marantz I recommend is either the 2270 or the 2275. They're basically both the same. If you go down that rabbit hole, you're going to see arguments of which one's better. I've got them both side by side. To me, they sound pretty much dead on the same. The difference is a little bit of power on the 2275 and the 2270. You can run two turntables, which is why I bought that one the first time. I was like, I'm going to have two turntables. And then I realized after I watched the Minimalist documentary, time to get rid of everything, which I've been trying to do. It's fucking hard. I mean, believe me, it's not hard to have nothing. But it's hard. I don't want to throw it away. I'm selling it all on eBay, Craigslist, and everything. And it is hard. It's a slow boat, but stuff's slowly starting to sell. And I'm looking forward to having an empty house with just records, my motorcycle, and a few outfits that I love. I'm getting into that Steve Jobs, like one outfit. He wore the fucking black jeans, black shirt, sweater. I'm going to skip the sweater. I'm not a sweater rock guy. Sweater rock. That's what we used to call Weezer. I love it. Those guys kill. They play sweater rock. Anyway, my turntable it's made in Germany. It was made in the 70s, called a Dual CS 5000. You can get the Dual CS 5000 in brown or black. Mine is black. I like them both. I just went with which one was cleaner. I had both for a minute. Sold the brown one. And then my speakers are Advents. The turntable will run you anywhere from $400 to $700. The Marantz will run you anywhere from $600 to $1,000. I recommend you spend the top money on the Marantz because you're going to buy one and cheap, and then you're going to need to get it recapped and shit. It's going to cost you another $200-$300. Get one already done. Get one already done, and look at the eBay feedback. Make sure the guy's just not like some, dumpster diver throwing it up there. If the guy's selling a lot of electronics, he's good to go. And try to stay away from the ones with the LED lights. They just don't look real. Of course, people try to say, oh, they're better. They run less heat and all that. That's bullshit. Those original lights lasted 30, 40 years. Stick with the originals. If you're going to have it restored, go with the original so it doesn't look like fucking blasting sun blue. It's just wrong. Marantz was warm. The lighting was cool. Remember back in the old days where you just got stoned and looked at your buddy's Marantz? You're like, God, that thing is fucking badass. Look at the knobs. Man, wow, that thing's cool. It's just it's the blue-collar Macintosh. That's what it is, man. You couldn't afford a Macintosh, so you got the Marantz. And the Marantz was definitely the highbrow of blue-collar. You go into a blue-collar guy's house, like a guy with a great blue-collar job, like a welder or a plumber, and he had that Marantz, and you were like, holy shit. My buddy Jack Delfino's parents had the Marantz. And that's why I always wanted it. We'd come home, we'd put Highway to Hell on it. I remember his dad would be like, you don't touch this fucking stereo. And he'd be at work all day, and we'd throw that on, Highway to Hell, and turn it up, man. The Advents, about $500, and they are phenomenal. Advents were made in L.A., and out there where they made the porn, Chatsworth. And Advents are incredible. They're hard to find mint. They usually always have big stains on them because people like my mom would put flower pots on them and then water the pots, and the water would leak over onto the fucking speaker cabinets. Or stoners and drunks at parties just put my beer right here and leave their beer. No coaster on the Advents. This shit is real wood. This ain't barnacle board. I love all you guys. Have a great weekend. Keep the candles lit. Enjoy yourselves. And, yeah, this was good. Bitchin'. See ya.